Swamin Namaste Natalokabandho Karunya Sindho Patitam Bhavabdhau Mamuddharatmiya Kataksha Drishtya Rajvyati Karunya Sudhabhivrishtiya Swamin Namaste Swamin Namaste Swamin Namaste Swamin Namaste Jnana Swarupam Nijabhavayuktam Anandamanandakaram prasannam Yogindramidhyam bhavarogavadyam Srimadgurum nityamaham namami Srimadgurum nityamaham namami Nityaya Satyaya Chidatmakaya Navyaya Bhavyaya Paratparaya Shuddhaya Buddhaya Niranjanaya Namostu Nityam Guru Shekharaya Namostu Nityam Guru Shekharaya Namostu Nityam Guru Shekharaya Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru. I feel that every time we speak, we must remind not only you, ourselves, again and again, that this life is for knowing ourselves. Who is this I? What is our real identity? And to realize it within ourselves, knowing this body is not the I, not the self. And this body is changeful, whereas the soul or the self is changeless. To be constantly remembering this throughout our thoughts, our speech, our actions, our interactions. We know this. I think we have been regularly reading this, listening to this, and sometimes remembering also. I don't say that we don't remember, but we don't live it. We have to live it through and through every moment, and not only inside ourselves, to see the same self everywhere, everywhere, in everything, in our thoughts, our viewpoints, our ideas, our emotions, our sentiments, and outside whatever we perceive in through our indriyas, the sense organs, and whatever activities we are doing, in our capability, in our having made a success, a failure, in good, bad, everything, that there is nothing but this self, nothing but God. This feeling should be ours, as we do not ever forget our name, our parents' name, where we belong to, or after this session, where you will go back to, where is your house. We don't, whatever we are doing, we don't forget these things. But we forget our soul, our self, and we forget that because of that presence, the Supreme Presence, we are active, we are doing everything. So this thought that I am the self, or in other words, I am God's, the supreme power, the supreme, who has created this universe, who is sustaining it, and in whom everything dissolves, I am from that supreme. So, this simple thing to be remembered, and not remember that I am God's, God, 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 God. That is not the remembrance. You have to feel it. Doing everything, whether good, bad, whatever you like, whatever you dislike, even while interacting with a very difficult person. It should not be forgotten. Not only not forgotten, we should feel the presence of that supreme, the power, the presence, the consciousness which is only one. Now everything that we are doing, it is to get to that state of remembering everything. See, in Bhagavatam, Prahlada tells, Ekanta bhaktir govinde yat sarvatra tadikshanam. That having that one-pointed bhakti by which you see God in everything, everywhere. It is like that one-pointed bhakti we are not having. We spend a little bit of our time, maybe morning, maybe evening, maybe some time of the day, and that too not a fixed time of the day. We spend our time maybe in spiritual pursuit, in devotional pursuit, in chanting so many slokas, and we feel that we have done our spiritual bit of our life. But that is very good, you do. But what is the result of that? It should give you some result. What is the result? The result is that we should be feeling everywhere that presence. We should never fall from that presence, fall from that touch. So all that we are doing is only to get that touch incessantly, ceaselessly. Sada anandarasam samrichati. Sada, that sada thing we want to have. I think all of you must be wanting it always. Why we are not able to do? Because of desires, possessiveness, ego, because of that. And this desire, possessiveness, etc., we all know how much it agitates our mind, disturbs our mind. So how to make the mind calm? In the calm mind, the self gets revealed. The self, which is our real identity. It is there always. It is our real self. But it is veiled by desires and possessions. And just like water, clear water, having ripples and waves, when we cannot see the water, suppose the water is there in a vessel, there is clean water, we can see the bottom. Even in a very clear stream, you can see the bottom. You can see the pebbles there. But suppose there is muddy water, suppose there is ripples or waves, you won't be able to see. Similarly, in a mirror, if the mirror is very well polished, we can see our face very clearly. But suppose the polishing is not well, or the mirror is dusty, we will not be able to see ourselves at all. It is a similar thing. Our desires and the disturbances the desires create in our mind does not allow us to see ourselves and find ourselves. We feel this body to be the I, body along with the mind and intelligence. Anyway, these things have been done many times. And we have been seeing that however much we understand the spiritual concepts, in the practical sense, you will not be able to retain it and apply it and live it in your life unless you become calm in the mind, pure in the mind. mind should become restful and calm. And for that, all the qualities, the spiritual qualities have to be developed. And that is why it is said that one is this. You try to develop the qualities, be very alert to them, or you look at or be associated with the Jivan Muktas, the self-realized people, and look at their qualities. Their qualities should be our sadhana. The seeker's sadhana is what? To develop the qualities which the Jivan Muktas or the self-realized saints, they manifest. And since we are doing the text, it comes down to purifying the mind. And we have been seeing that the mind is agitated by desire and possessiveness. It is because of this, when the Rajoguna becomes too much, it makes one very active. The desire becomes more, possessiveness becomes more. And when Tamoguna is too much, then you will be very, very lethargic. You won't even feel like doing any vichara or any kind of pursuit. You will feel that, what is there? All these are nothing. So Rajoguna and Tamoguna, they bring about lot of opposite tendencies in the mind, which is required for the mind to become calm. So how the mind becomes calm? When the Sattva Guna becomes more and more. At any time, our mind or all our activities is governed by the mixture of the three gunas. Now we have to very consciously, with lot of attention, see that our Rajoguna and Tamogunas are quietened, made less and less, and we grow more and more in Sattva Guna. So in the last session, I took one sloka from Vairagya Shatakam, where the mind is being compared to a river. The desire is compared to the mind's desire, is being compared to a river, and it says that Asha Nama Nadi Manoratha Jala Trishna Taranga Kula. This desire is a river, just like in a river, actual river, the content is the water. Here, the content is the desire. And it disturbs the mind. Waves of desire will come. Then in many ways it has made similes with a river, the river's banks, then there are crocodiles in the river. Here in the mind, the severe expectations and desires are like crocodiles, which bring about attachment. So those attachments are like the crocodiles. We are not able to leave what is not wanted, what is not good for us. We are not able to leave. And like this it has been done. I did it in great detail, so I will not repeat it. Only read the sloka. Asha nama nadi manoratha jala trishna taranga kula raga grahavati vitarka vihaga dhairya drumadvamsini moha varta sudustarati gahana protunga chintatati tasya paragata vishuddha manaso nandanti yogishvara. It says, it describes this river called desire and tells how the desire, it creates havoc in the mind. Mind doesn't remain calm at all. It is afflicted, it is sometimes angry, it is sometimes attached, it is sometimes, get into greed, and it loses its fortitude sometimes. All these things are happening because of the desires. So one must be very attentive not to allow the mind, that is, the mind should be restrained. And in the last sentence it says, Tasyaha paragata vishuddha manaso nandanti yogishwaraha. So the yogis or the seekers who have taken to the path and who have taken the aim to get liberated in this life, or at least walk towards the path of liberation, they have been able to make their mind pure, vishuddha manasaha. When a seeker is able to make the mind pure, then they are able to go across this river and not get afflicted or affected by it. So then there comes the question, what is this vishuddha manas? Which is a mind which will be called as vishuddha manas? So then I did this shloka. When the mind becomes pure, then vishuddha sattvasya guna prasadaha. Both these are in the verses of introspection. Vishuddha sattvasya guna prasadaha Swatmanubhuti parama prashanti trupti praharsha paramatmanishta yaya sadanandarasam samrichyati. This also says that when a person becomes Vishuddha Sattva, the Sattva Guna is such that it has overcome the influences of Rajas and Tamas, and also the binding effect of Sattva Guna. If you see we have discussed it through, in the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we see that even Sattva Guna binds. Sukha sangena badnati jnana sangena. That is, when Sattva Guna increases, we get bliss of Sattva Guna. And we also become very happy, and we also start getting knowledge. So that knowledge, that gives lot of joy to the buddhi. Now, those who take to the pursuit of Sattva Guna, that is, feel that I should reduce Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna, I should do Sattvic things, the Sattvic disciplines I must have, I should grow in Sattvic qualities. Then they get bound by this Sattvic bondage. What is that bondage? It very often happens. Those who take to spirituality, and suppose you are reading or you are listening or you are doing meditation and something comes up, a necessity comes up, or somebody disturbs you at that time, you become angry. You do not want to get up and go and do your worldly duties, even if it is necessary. So these are attachments to the happiness or jnana that one is getting. That is why Krishna is saying, Sukha sangena badnati, jnana sangena bharata. Now, when the Sattva Guna increases, there is lot of luminosity, brightness, attentivity, sensitiveness for all the sense organs and the mind and intelligence. Mind and intelligence become very, very sharp and subtle. Similarly, the senses, they can understand what is good for you and what is not. But you have to be very watchful that you do not get attached to it. What is this Vishuddha Sattva state? In Vishuddha Sattva state, actually you go beyond this bondage of Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna. You can call it a Gunatita state also. But when that purified state is reached, what is promised to us? It is saying that Vishuddha Sattvasya Gunaha Prasadaha. Atma Prasadaha. The mind becomes absolutely placid, tranquil, blissful. Then It's not that, see, many times our minds become very happy, peaceful, and suppose there is not much trouble in life, whatever your son has wanted some particular job he has got, you got your daughter married properly, and you are living a very comfortable life, lot of placidity, contentment, etc. will be there. It's not that. It's not that. And also, maybe some things you had expected and no major problem in life. Placidity is there in the mind, it's not that. It is a placidity which graces the mind effortlessly. It just comes from within, independent of anything. All our placidity for short durations or maybe a little longer duration in our life is dependent on objects, dependent on something which we had wanted, we had got. But this placidity comes from within. Swasmin sada kridati nandati swayam nirantaranandarasena tripta nirantaranandarasena triptah. Swasmin, it comes from within. It is there within. That placidity belongs to the soul. And without any object, independently of anything, sada, swasmin sada, it rejoices in oneself, sports into oneself, kridati nandati, rejoices and sports in what? In that bliss. Nirantar anandarasena triptaha. Nirantara means ceaselessly. Anandarasa, it just like a fountain it is coming. See, it is coming always. We don't look at it. We just look to the other fountains outside, which we think will be giving us a lot of joy. But the fountain that is there, which doesn't stop, pouring forth the joy, the bliss, we don't ever look at it. Don't ever try to find it and get established in it. We are reading about it. How many times this shloka has been taken? We are reading about it. We are understanding the state, but we don't make an effort to be sitting in the shower of that Amrita. That effort we do not make. So here in this shloka it says that Vishuddha Sattvasya Gunaha Prasadaha Swatmanubhutihi. So for a person, Swatmanubhutihi takes place. What is Swatmanubhuti? One experiences the self within oneself. Then even if you sit in meditation, it becomes effortless to be absorbed into oneself. And what about the non-meditational hours? We are always not going to sit in meditation, are we? We cannot. We have many duties, many responsibilities, so we have to get up. So what about the non-meditative times? Then also you will be absorbed in the self. Remaining absorbed in the self, you will be able to do everything. That is, not losing the touch of the self, touch of God, you will be able to do everything. That is, you will remember that you are the self, I am God's. Having that remembrance, not forgetting it ever, you will be able to do everything. So one experiences the self within oneself, and Atma is no more sought in meditation and samadhi. When we want to realize what is the first step we do, we may be reading the scriptures and all, but we meditate. In the meditation alone, samadhi can be attained, and in that samadhi, we can realize ourself. But when this Swatmanubhuti comes, as an effect of that prasada, what happens? we no longer seek the Atma because we find that Atma everywhere. Here in meditation, we are closing our eyes, we are sitting at a place, trying to withdraw all our senses and everything, mind, intelligence, into our core and trying to get united with that self. It will not be necessary because prasada had taken place, placidity of the mind has taken place, all ripples of the mind had got quietened. So self is revealed always, nirantara, that fountain of bliss is spreading out. You are understanding it and you are finding that it is not only here, it is in everything and everywhere, in every creature, every object in this world. Experience of the self becomes natural, continuous, and all-enveloping. And Swatmanubhuti then leads to Parama Prashanti, supreme peace, Trupti, contentment, supreme peace. Just think of this supreme peace. We may become peaceful at times, but this is a supreme peace which doesn't leave you at any time. There may be difficult situations, there may be indecisions in life, there may be very critical moments, but deep down yourself you will be in supreme peace, just like an ocean. There are waves at the surface, but if you go deep down, it is absolutely calm. It will be like this, supreme peace, Parama Prashantihi, Triptihi, contentment. Contentment we don't have. We are constantly wanting things. Always, if we get one thing, after some time we want something else. Something else, something else, something else. We are never satisfied. We never say that I am contented. And this contentment, we are always not looking for big items. We are looking for little love, little consideration, good behavior from others, a little recognition from others. Even the small things also, we are always having lack of contentment. Then praharshaha, exhilaration. That much of joy and love will be in all your cells. All the cells will be full of joy. It's oozing oozing. Ananda will be oozing from everything. All the cells and your eyes, in your talk, in your behavior. Paramatma Nishtha. And your Nishtha, wholesome abidance. What is Nishtha? Wholesome abidance in the Supreme Self. Whatever you do, you cannot dissociate and do that. You will be always associating the self with whatever you are doing, that it has become so much part of you. Say, I am doing something. Say, I am now giving lecture. I don't forget that I have got 2 legs, 2 hands, 2 eyes, 2 ears. That is the parts of my body I don't forget. I may be deep into this. Definitely, I am trying to explain to you in a more, as I am talking, I am feeling that it should be very clear to you. It should be very clear to you. So my mind is completely engaged in this. But have I forgotten my toes, my fingers, my nose, my neck? I have not. So it becomes part of us. This self it is I. So I don't forget it ever. And all that I do with wholesome abidance in it. Say, when I will finish my talk, because I am not forgotten my body, I know that I'll get up with my 2 feet. I don't even have to think I'll be walking out of this hall. Suppose by talking I'm thirsty, without even thinking, I'll take my flask and drink some water. And this is true for everybody, every moment. We don't forget. Now, we are not forgetting the gross body ever. We have to remember our actual presence, actual self always, which we have forgotten. This is the wholesome abidance in Supreme Self. Now, this is, I am giving a talk. Questions should arise in your mind while doing a particular thing. How do I really have wholesome abidance? Suppose you are arranging a place. There are many books. You have been asked to arrange the books. In doing so, what is this wholesome abidance at that time in the self? What is that vichara? I am just taking an example. You have been given many books and you have been told that you please keep the books properly and nicely arrange them. Now, this Paramatma Nishtha, how is it to be applied then? My dear children, I think we have to learn this. What is this Paramatma Nishtha? How we are working? I have been given a work and I will try to do. First of all, I will understand in what manner I have to do. Not having an ego that I know. Whoever has given the work, try to understand how it is to be done. And in doing so, the remembrance that this body which is doing the work, the mind which is focused on the work, the intelligence which is finding out an excellent method to do the work, the senses which are sensing at what point what has to be done, all this, and the limbs maybe are being used. Each and every part of the body has been given by you, the Supreme. You may call it Supreme, you may call it God. I think while doing the work, this feeling can come. If you have done a work, this feeling should be there that I have got the capability, my intelligence, the amount of intelligence that you have given. It is from you and this is not mine. I-ness goes. We feel that I have done it very well. And in our mind there is a little expectation or maybe a big expectation. Once it is seen by others, I'll be appreciated. Not having that feeling of ego, of getting some recognition or praise. Only feeling that if I have been able to do anything, it is because you have given the work today, you have designed it so that I have got this work today, and the skill and the excellence, if you have given to me to do this work excellently, it is given by you. I am yours. This remembrance, and not just chanting Hari 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 Krishna Krishna Shiva 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 Shiva. This remembrance, as you remember throughout the day, for every work and every interaction, you will find you are getting established in this knowledge. Otherwise, this knowledge is different from you. It's remaining alien. For 20, 25 years, 35 years, people are just listening, reading. How will the knowledge become yours? You have to think and feel it. Feel it. This Paramatma Nishtha. Say today we distributed buttermilk. It was Draupadi Dinam. I think those who are listening, a little bit of Draupadi Dinam I must say, otherwise it won't mean anything. Our ashram is at the slope of a hill, and at the hilltop is the village temple, Ayukunna temple, Devi temple, and the Devi temple was in a very dilapidated condition. Then Swamiji has got it renovated, and earlier, say about 40 years back, there was no area around the temple building because through heavy rains, Kerala used to have heavy rains those days, whole of the hill had just got eroded. So rubble masonry work was done, and there was earth taken from below and filled there. And now the temple has a big ground. And a lot of renovation has been done, decoration has been done. The temple is running very well. So there is a legend that the Pandavas, when they went for Vanavasa, forest exile, along with Draupadi, the Pancha Pandavas had come here. And Draupadi had done penance and worshipped the Devi so that her husbands become victorious in the war. So a day is fixed for Draupadi in this temple, which is called Draupadi Dinam, where the Devi's vigraha, the vigraha is made of Panchaloha. It is put in a ratham, a chariot, and the chariot is decorated very beautifully. Light lamp is lit inside, and two small girls, very nicely decorated, they sit there. And the chariot is tied on with two ropes, thick ropes, which the ladies of this village, and from outside also ladies come, they pull the chariot themselves and go around the village and come back to the same spot. So Swamiji goes there to flag off the chariot, and when the chariot, after coming, you can imagine, this is the month of May, it has not rained, it is terribly hot and sultry. So in that, some people, they take to this austerity of going round the village carrying the, pulling the ratham. And so when it comes to the ashram gate, we are all ready with sambharam, which is diluted buttermilk, something very special of Kerala. So we distribute sambharam to everybody, and that is a very refreshing drink at that time. So we were all ready, and here there are many devotees who are already here, because on 13th May Swamiji's birthday is here, so from various places and from abroad also some of our devotees are already here, and our workers, our staff, all together we were distributing. Now, this is a work we have done. All were so satisfied doing this, giving them drink. And not only the chariot pullers, any other cars or lorries or trucks going, we were giving them. It is a joy. Now, all these simple things, how do you remain associated with God? Where does this Paramatma Nishtha come here? Did any of you think about this word Paramatma Nishtha? Any of you think about God at that time? We might have thought that we are making people happy, and it is a selfless work. We had to take up a lot of work to prepare so much of sambharam, and carrying it to the kitchen, to the roadside, was not easy. And do all the arrangements so that everything goes on smoothly. Paramatma Nishtha is, at least in this case I could say, feeling that not only that when you drink a glass of buttermilk, how you feel that your thirst is quenched, giving the feeling that, oh God, everybody is yours and I am offering to you alone. This thought can be done. I don't think you have to spend any money, anything to have this thought. That, oh God, in so many rupas you have come, so many forms you have come, and this is my worship to you. I am able to give. That you have given me this joy of being part of this work. May I see all in all, you and you alone, the self and self alone. Like this, my children, for everything we can do. Only it is just a habit. It is a reminder to oneself. Instead of just chit-chatting and being on the phone, if we can get into this habit, you will find in no time this whole earth will be so good. Everywhere you will be rejoicing only. Now the rejoicing moments are dependent on something which you like, which you want. But at that time, there is only rejoicing because that rejoicing factor is within you, which is always spreading its vibrations, its amrita everywhere. So, Paramatma Nishtha. And in this Paramatma Nishtha state, a seeker is full and complete in Atma. He is nothing but Atma. You know, Swamiji's one, Prabhat Rashmi Swamiji has written. It has struck me so much. Not written, actually he has spoken, which has been printed. Become a ball of spirituality. Become a ball of divinity. That is what we have to be. We just hear and let it go. When we hear, it becomes very important to us. We say, oh Swamiji, you have spoken so well. After that, you have to work on it. You become a ball of divinity. Swamiji has told whom? To the devotees in front. And what is the duty of the devotees? If they have devotion, to pick up these words and work on them. How can I become a ball of divinity? Paramatma Nishtha. Don't see anything without the association of Paramatma. Because it is He and He alone. How many times we are reading and listening. God is all-pervading. Self is all-pervading. There is only one self, the universal self. We know it, but in our day-to-day life, we are not able to actualize it. So we have to actualize. And a seeker's abidance is exclusively in Atma and in nothing else. And then the seeker's life carries on with this nishtha. You understand? Everything you do, like I have said, this buttermilk distribution, it is this nishtha. At the back of everything, it is this nishtha. You should remember. Then you will find that you are not missing anybody. You are giving to everybody. See, we were geared to give to the Draupadi Dinam Ratham people. Women were there, children were there, and the vehicle people were there, the drivers were there, some men were also walking along. What about the other cars? They are just passing by. But when that feeling comes, everything is a self. And stop them, give them. Feel happy that they have taken. Feel happy that God has given you this feeling to give to everything and everybody. No discrimination. And with love. What will happen then? The alertness, the sensitivity will grow so much. You will find that you are embracing the whole world. You will find that you are embraced by God. Nowhere you will miss His presence. So, what happens? How this Vishuddha Sattva state is, every quality that we have said, prasadaha, swatmanubhutihi, triptihi, praharshaha, paramatmanishta. Everything is opposed to the desires. And the desires simply fly away. Mind becomes calm. As a result, over the calm foundation, inherent qualities of the self start reflecting and filling the mind. The mind gets filled. It is a sahaja state. It is a natural state. You will find that, generally when we are in a group, we will be feeling whether to do, whether not to do. A sahajaness will come, a naturalness will come. All sadhana stops at that time. And the joy that we seek from external objects and from our spiritual pursuit, all the joy arises from within, independent of the external objects. And how to reach there? This Sattva Guna, actually it is the effect of the Sattva Guna practice. Read these kind of slokas again and again. See, prasadaha, prasadaha, swatmanubhutihi, prasadaha, swatmanubhutihi, triptihi, praharshaha, paramatmanishta, and then parama prashanti is also there. All these words, just, feel it and take a dip in that feeling. Prasadaha. As if you are inside a lake of prasadaha. Parama prashantihi. As if you are inside that prashantihi. Triptihi. Praharshaha. Paramatmanishta. Yaya sadanandarasam samrichyati. My dear children, this much time should be given. Sit somewhere and do this. This one shloka is enough. Enough to give the supreme bliss. Enough to deal with every day. Every day. Such a beautiful shloka it is. And read it again and again. Chant it repeatedly. Most of you chant many slokas. You have got a routine. In the morning, these many slokas. This also, this also, this also, this also. Very good. Instead of not having any routine, these routines are good. But if you have done it for years and years, now your days should be filled with vichara. Read one or two and then do this vichara. All our prayers, slokas, are slokas on which you can do vichara. Those are not just namavali, taking the name of God. It has a message. And message for what? To grow in sattvic qualities. All our slokas, it has been collected by Swamiji. So, many people who have taken to this very good habit of doing the prayers in your house. It's very good. But just don't stop there. At other times, take one sloka and Start doing vichara. Start getting dipped into the meaning. Here it is all quality oriented. So understand the meaning and the depth of each word. With deep yearning, feel the import of the magnificent state represented by these words. Absorb and assimilate. Absorb and assimilate. Just like a blotting paper, if ink has fallen, if you put a blotting paper, everything is taken by the blotting paper. So absorb it. Your mind should absorb. How one reads, how much one assimilates, how much one rejoices in the meanings, how much one absorbs will depend on one's sincerity. Are you sincere? Or you are just listeners? Are you sincere? Now, I find that when we ask these questions, people are afraid, oh, I have to be sincere. But why? To live your life, you have to be sincere. To study from college to higher studies, you had to be sincere. To grow in your professional life, you have to be sincere. Then why not this? If you are not, then means it's just an occupation. It's just a part-time. It is not your heart's call. And I should say, if it is not your heart's call, you are foolish. Everything else will vanish. Your heart's call should be, let me have that treasure which will remain with me even if in my old age I am on the bed and all my senses, my mind and buddhi all have become feeble. But this assimilation, absorption that I have got, that cannot leave me. Somebody was telling me that I am becoming old, I am not able to read now properly, eyesight is going, I am not able to hear also properly. So what shall I do? I don't know. Maybe body is also not good. Maybe I will lie on the bed. This is inevitable. So what we should do? While we are okay, we should get into a habit of not depending on only reading, not depending only on listening, not depending on anything else, chanting or other things, depending on only being absorbed into oneself and being in the lap of oneself. When the body is sick, the body is diseased, body is old, you cannot get up, you have to have the help of somebody or other. That absorption that you have habituated to and you are able to, nobody can take away from you. No, nothing can take away from you. And it will give you joy, only joy. But just see how foolish people are. People are not ready to give time to this. So that is why I am saying, are you sincere? Are you sincere? The other day I was asking Swamiji, I think most of the devotees, after having listened, learned, having a guru, and more or less progressing a little bit, they just stop. They feel that we have got something better than others, and life we are able to handle a little better, and that's all. This remaining absorbed in oneself, my dear children, it's such a beautiful thing. All should try it. So one must rub one's personality with these words. Rub the personality. Purity will dawn automatically. Frequently one must assess, am I like this? When am I going to be like this? When am I going to be like this? Am I like this? These are the main things that ask yourself. Like those who do spiritual practices by chanting, reading every day, and feeling very satisfied that I have done my spiritual pursuit. So whole day is mine, I can do many other things. Which you can do, but it will be divine if you associate and do vichara, thinking that whatever I am doing is nothing that I am doing, it is as an instrument of the Supreme that I am doing. Everything that I am doing with my mind, my buddhi, my limbs, my capability, my qualification, nothing is mine. It has been given to me as a gift, so I am able to do. And be grateful to God. Then it will be good. So, one must ask oneself that what after this? What after this? Am I like this? When am I going to be like this? Then the real effort to reach the supreme state is understanding and wanting. All these, once I asked Swamiji, so he was replying me like this. A burning desire, mumukshutva is necessary. So when I said that, Swamiji, people do not have burning desire. Many do not have sincerity. So what will they do? Because I feel that they also must get something. Swamiji said, even if one does not reach the state fully, reading, chanting, contemplating on the meanings of the words with a burning aspiration will make the seeker gradually soak in these qualities and bring about peace, contentment and atmanishtha in the mind. So, even if the sincerity is not there in the beginning, it can be grown. One must cry and weep for sincerity, my dear children. If you really feel that these are, and I think that all of you are interested, that is why you are listening. Only thing, how to do this vichara, that has to be understood. How to do this vichara with simple shlokas in your simple life, your day-to-day life. How do you bring that? Chanting a shloka, how do you really bring it to your day-to-day life so that it becomes yours? So, this is what, so I'll go back to Sattva Guna. You should not forget, I am taking a small chapter from Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Sara Sangraha. And the chapter is Chitta Prasadaha. This is what we want. Vishuddha Chittasva, Vishuddha Sattvasya Gunaha Prasadaha. Prasadam Adhigacchati. That prasada thing has to be found. We don't want to remain agitated and disturbed always, stressed and tensed always. We want calmness, restfulness of the mind. So, now I started with that. And before that, in Viveka Chudamani, this Sattva Guna has been described. Before it describes Vishuddha Sattva state, it is describing Sattva Guna. It is number 117, Viveka Chudamani. Sattvam Vishuddham Jalavat Tathapi Tabhyam Militva Saranaya Kalpate Yatra Atmabimba Pratibimbitas San Prakashayatyarka Ivakhilam Jadam Sattvam Vishuddham Jalavat Tathapi Tabhyam Militva Saranaya Kalpate Yatra Atmabimba Pratibimbitas San Prakashayatyarka Ivakhilam Jadam. It says, this Sattva Guna is like pure clear water. But the combination of Rajas and Tamas, that creates the trouble. But when Sattva Guna becomes purer and purer, and Rajas and Tamas reduces and reduces, then what happens is that the light of the self gets reflected in the Sattva. And then the self gets revealed. The Sattva Guna becoming pure, it becomes so luminous that the self-luminosity, it starts showing itself. This is what happens. And because of that, when the light of the self gets reflected in Sattva Guna, then like the sun reveals everything, this also, the light of the self, not only reveals itself, it reveals the whole creation. It reveals the whole creation. So this is how it works. And in Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Sara Sangraha, Shloka number 482, it says, Atyanta Nirmala Sukshma Atmayam Atibhaswaraha. That this Atma is Atyanta Nirmalaha, extremely pure, Sukshma, subtle, and Atibhaswaraha, it is extremely bright and luminous. So this Atma, which is very subtle, very pure, it is also luminous. And like in Bhagavad Gita it says, Antarjyotihi, it is always luminous, self-luminous. So the Sattva Guna, when this Atma reflects into the Sattva Guna, which also becomes pure, then the whole Atma is revealed and the creation is also revealed. And the Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Sara Sangraha, in 483rd sloka, that is the next sloka, it says, Buddhis tathaiva sattvatma sabhasa bhasvaramala sannidhyad atmavad bhati suryavat sphatiko yatha. Buddhis tathaiva sattvatma sabhasa bhasvaramala sannidhyad atmavad bhati suryavat sphatiko yatha. It says, this buddhi is Saatvika. Buddhi has taken to the Saatvika qualities. Then this self is reflected in it. And being Saatvika, the buddhi is very bright and pure. As a glass, suppose there is a piece of glass and sun is reflecting. Sun is very far away. The sun rays are reflecting. What happens? Then the glass piece, it looks like sun. It suddenly becomes luminous and bright. Similarly, this buddhi, which is very near to the self, because all are inside, and the buddhi also has the Saatvika qualities. It is pure and transparent, and the self is self-luminous. So it reflects into the buddhi, and the buddhi, through the buddhi, then we see the self. Do you get it? How does the self gets revealed? Everything we understand through the buddhi. This is what happens. The self, the existence, the presence is there. And that presence is self-luminous. And the buddhi also, it is within. Buddhi is has become transparent and pure because of the sattvic qualities. And the self's luminosity reflects into that buddhi which is transparent. Like the sun which falls on a piece of glass makes it shine like the sun itself, then the self also, which is self-luminous, bright, it reflects in the buddhi and it becomes like the self. It reveals the self. This is what is all described in these books. So we are understanding the process. Now, to actualize what we have to do, we have to make our buddhi Saatvika. Unless the buddhi is Saatvika, if the buddhi is dull, if the mind is not pure, naturally, though the self is self-luminous always, ever and ever, it will not shine. The buddhi has to be polished, it should become subtle, it should become pure, it should become transparent, so that this light from the self and the self's luminosity is its own. It does not depend on anything else. It will fall on the buddhi and the buddhi will become like the self and reveal the self. So we understand why there is a need to get the Sattvika qualities. So then comes, and all the following slokas are, how will you get this Chitta Prasada? By increasing the Sattva Guna, and it gives different disciplines to the seekers. So what is the discipline? It says the next one. Yameshu nirato yastu niyameshu cha yatnataha vivekinastasya chittam prasadam adhigacchati. Yameshu nirato yastu niyameshu cha yatnataha vivekinastasya chittam prasadam adhigacchati. Yameshu nirato yastu niyameshu cha yatnataha vivekinastasya chittam prasadam adhigacchati. It says, one who makes effort diligently, yaha tu yatnataha, one who diligently makes effort and is devoted to yama and niyama. Yameshu, niyameshu cha nirataha. That is constantly they follow the disciplines of yama and niyama. Tasya vivekinaha chittam. The mind of that man who has discrimination, viveka, prasadam adhigacchati. So it is telling one part. What? That one will get prasadam of the mind if you follow these disciplines of yama and niyama. What is yama and niyama? We will have to see. So I will discuss those also. Then another factor we must note. What is that? Vivekinaha. One who has discrimination. One who is given to vichara. Now see, the further shlokas are also like this. Asurim sampadam tiktva bhajedyo daiva sampadam mokshaika kankshaya nityam tasya chittam prasidati. Asurim sampadam tiktva bhajedyo daiva sampadam mokshaika kankshaya nityam tasya chittam prasidati. Asuri sampad, those yaha mokshaika kankshaya, those who are wanting liberation, For them, this Sattva Guna is necessary, prasadam is necessary, chitta prasadam is necessary. So for them, asurim sampadam tyaktva, abandon the evil traits, daiva sampadam bhajet, and worship the good qualities. Tasya chittam prasidati. For them, the mind will become full of prasada. And what will prasada lead you to? Liberation. So you are understanding that qualities, we have to grow in qualities. We cannot like spiritual philosophy, concepts, and remain with traits and tendencies which are against it. You like spirituality, you like the philosophy very well, you are able to explain very well, understand very well, but you are given to lethargy, you are given to restlessness, you are given to anger, you are given to impatience, you are given to dislike, you are given to criticism. It will not do. It will not do. You are given to ego, thinking that my view is the best view. And quarrel. It will not do. Everywhere this is like that. Everywhere. So these are two parts, One is absorbing the philosophy well, understanding it well. Along with it, purify your mind, purify yourself, calm your mind, and then get absorbed into oneself. If you do not do this, you won't be successful in meditation even, because you are allowing your mind to remain agitated throughout the day. And when you sit for meditation, 100 thoughts, 100 agitating thoughts will come. So, the mind has to be quietened. Samyag alokanat satyat vasana praviliyate. Vasana vilaye chetaha shamyatyasneha deepavat. This is from Yoga Vasishtha. Samyag alokanat satyat. The truth that is being told, that you are the self. Your joy is within you and it is always flowing out. It is unconditioned, it is independent of everything. And you are unaffected, you are imperishable, fearless. This truth, the self, which is all pervading, everywhere, one without the second. Everywhere is the same self, this truth. Now, samyak alokanat satyat. One should do vichara on this truth, samyak, truly, deeply, sincerely, wanting it, never forgetting it. Forget we may, but our aim should be not to forget. We are human beings, we will forget. Remaining in the household or the worldly life, we may forget. But whenever you remember, spend time on it. Samyak alokanat satyat. When you do that, you are dealing with what? Dwelling on what thought? Atma, who is changeless, who has no desire, which has no desire. So, the qualities of Atma, which it can give us, we have just now read. Prasada, Parama Prashantihi, Triptihi, Praharsha, Paramatmanishta, etc., etc., Swatmanubhutihi. There is no desire. Everything is opposed to desire. So, Samyak alokanat satyat, when we do alochana, and that is when we dwell on the thought of that supreme truth sincerely, then what happens? Vasana praviliyate. The vasanas, the desires, they simply get annihilated. Because you are dealing with such thing where vasana is not there. Then, when the vasana is annihilated, what happens? Vasana vilaye chetaha. The mind, after the vasanas have become quietened, shamyatya sneha deepavat. Shamyati. Shamyati means it becomes absolutely quiet or extinguished. Deepavat, like a lamp. A lamp is lit. When will it die down? Extinguish? When there is no oil. So, vasana vilaye chetaha shamyatya sneha deepavat. It will completely become cold or extinguished, just like a lamp in which the oil has got over. What is the oil for our desire? Our agitations? Desire. Our mind is burning, active, one work after this. You won't be able to sit quietly for some time. One lady had come, so she was a little old also. So she was not getting in many things to do here. She was saying, I cannot keep quiet. I've been always doing work. So I was saying that now you have been doing work. It is a time for you to learn how to remain quiet without doing work. So that is why Swamiji has brought you here. Learn how to remain quiet. Don't become restless thinking that, oh, there is no work. How can I sit quietly? If that type of a situation comes, you have to sit quietly. And take it as an occasion to sit quietly within yourself. See how much we are dependent on outside. When we are getting so much time to sit quietly because there is no work to be done. I think now also here also, since our Annakshetra used to run earlier by devotees, they used to serve, they used to get a lot of joy. But we had to sometimes face a lot of problem because there are many new people but no regular devotees who can help us. So ultimately now it is on the domestic girls. So everybody who comes, who are coming earlier, regularly, they feel a loss because there is a lot of joy serving food. So they say we have no work. Very good, no work, then sit and get absorbed. That is some effort you can do, but people will not do that. So, okay, I thought this, even when I joined the ashram, I was in contact with Swamiji, in association of Swamiji for a long time. So he used to send me slokas to learn. In his own handwriting, the sloka will be, and the meaning will be typed. So this is one of the slokas he had given. I did not know much of Sanskrit at that time. Even now I do not know much of Sanskrit, but I have a lot of love for Sanskrit. So this is one of the slokas which I learnt at that time and understood how beautiful, not only beautiful, how important this sloka is, and how if we can just get absorbed in it, we can feel that divinity always around us. Not only around us, everywhere. Okay. Sampurnam Jagadeva Nandanavanam Sarvepi Kalpadrumaha गांगं वारि समस्तवारि निबहाः पुण्याः समस्ताः क्रियाः वाचः प्राकृतसंस्कृताः श्रुतिशिरो वाराणसी मेदिनी सर्वावस्थितिरस्य वस्तुविषया दृष्टिः परब्रह्मणि सर्वावस्थितिरस्य वस्तुविषया दृष्टिः परब्रह्मणि। जय गुरु, जय गुरु, जय गुरु।